Hello everyone and welcome back to the last day, day 5 of the crypto trading course. My name is Alex Winkler, and in this section we're going to be learning how to create a watch list. Most days of the week, or every day that I'm trading specifically, I make a trading watch list. I also make 1 to 2 investor watch lists, depending on it really depends on the market and my positions that I'm currently in. I like reviewing them all the time. The way the two watch lists differ is really just time frame and a little bit of strategy. The general structure is almost identical. So it kind of gets, just like I talked about in the first section of this day, kind of gets all my ideas on paper, right? So I don't have to think about it all the time. I can always go back to it and review it later. I also go through my whole entire previous watch list, or in the trading view, I already have a bunch of pre-selected coins and tokens that I'm looking at. So, I'll go through the charts and see if there's anything that is trending that I really like. So kind of any picks that I really like, I add to my written watch list. I'm looking at this. These are support and resistance levels that I'm looking for. This would be a nice entry, or, I don't want to chase this one, but if it goes back a bit, this would be a great dip buy. So, I'm just getting all my ideas on paper. Another thing that I like doing is when I'm making my watch list is looking for the biggest percent gainers. This is actually quite typical among traders in general, if it's equities or crypto, or I guess I'm not sure about commodities. I never traded commodities, but this is especially among normal equities trader, looking for percent gainers is a pretty normal thing. And the reason we are looking for percent gainers is because, like I said, we're not trying to predict the market, right? We're not trying to think, what can be a percent gainer, and let's get involved in that. We think about, okay, these moved up, these coins really moved up quite drastically. Let's see if there is a pattern here that we can, trade as a momentum, and we can take advantage of all the volume that's here. Sometimes there's, a coin that trades, $20,000 a day on average, and it's just, a flat line, and we're actually going to review one that looks just like this. And then there's a massive spike, huge volume, and millions, or sometimes up to $1 million gets traded in that day. That coin that's usually dead. So all of a sudden we can trade a coin that before we would have never been able to touch. So the percent gainers is usually something we're going to be doing for our daily watch list. So our day trading watch list, not necessarily the investor one, although sometimes those coins do carry over because maybe something is really interesting, like it was a percent gainer because it had a massive deal or some sort of news around it. So maybe that eventually, after a day trading opportunity, is a coin that you want to put on the investor watch list as well. Or if maybe something like Ripple, right? It was a percent gainer, but interesting project. A lot of people are talking about it. So maybe I want to swing trade that. That's exactly what happened. So yeah, an example of that is IBM working with Stellar. Right now it is July 27th, and Stellar was just shooting up more than any other crypto. Well, maybe not any other, but among the top 100, Stellar was really making moves. And it was because this huge deal with IBM looking to use their coin for use their platform to create a crypto dollar stablecoin. So yeah, in this picture, we actually used the screener, so it's pretty simple. I'll show you guys how to use it in a second, but basically here's the screener option. This pops up, pretty cool, pretty convenient. You have your percent gainers if you choose it right here. I usually have it on day, but if you want to switch around a little bit, change the time frame, you could also see sometimes things a bit more relevant, or just breaking out. So anyway, I just took this to give you guys a quick example. I have my flag watch list, things I'm really looking at quite actively. A lot of long-term ones, a lot of short-term ones. So a little bit of everything. I have maybe 40 coins in here that I'll just go scroll through on the daily, and then I'll scroll through maybe sometimes on the 4-hour to see if there's some smaller trends moving. This first one, D market. Actually don't really know what this one is. I just wanted to take a picture as an example. So here you have huge percentage gain, 166% up on the day. You can see which exchange it on. I don't trade Bittrex actually at the moment, but I'm really looking in getting into that. I just don't like how they actually I really do like it. They have a bunch of different coins, and you also have the option for fiat. Most of their smaller coins though do not trade in in fiat, so you would have to buy Bitcoin first, which is fine. But you can also see here, so yeah, it's hard as I would have to go to the actual map, but their average volume was really tiny, and I don't remember, it was a few tens of thousands, and then this day it just spikes up crazy, and you can see their volume was 10.3 million. Right, think about that. That's a massive volume. So let's calculate that for a second. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 times. Well, their price is now 0.47. So that's, how many zeros is that? I can't even count that right now. Let me slow down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's $4.7 million being traded on that day. So something that barely ever sees any volume, any excitement, all of a sudden gets massive news, and that's what we're looking for a day trade. So I completely missed this. This is actually during a time frame that I frequently miss, but for me, I'm in UTC at the moment, and I've really noticed over the course of a few weeks that between 6 and 7 it gets really interesting. So this is a really hot time where I find a lot of things are spiking. But anyway, if I was up, this could have been an interesting dip buy, potentially. I don't know, this would have been tough. Maybe I would have had to cut my losses, or who knows. But here, this looks pretty nice. This is actually a little checkmark pattern that I'm going to be talking about soon. And you could have maybe got a nice little breakout from here, which is pretty exciting. So that's how we use the screener. And to give you guys a better example, it's right down here. You just click screener, and then you could kind of see what's going on. So it's as simple as that, and it might sound a little complicated at first, but you just do it a few times. You see what's on my watch list. You can start comparing and contrasting. Over time, you're going to see what coins work for you. We obviously look for coins with a decent amount of volume. We talked about this in day 3 already. But you want to be trading coins that you have a very small amount of the overall volume. If you're trading coins where you're going to be affecting over 5 to 10% of the daily volume, that can get very dangerous. You can get stuck in some really bad positions. So that's why we're looking for coins that are really making moves with a lot of volume. And yeah, it's nice with this screener. You can really search through everything you want pretty quickly. Even if you have favorite exchanges, you can sort for that. So you might actually also be thinking, and this is something I thought as well too. Well, why don't can I also check out percent losers? So things that dip the hardest that day. In some ways, you are right. You could, because there could be some really nice dip buying opportunities. But for me, dip buying is kind of one of my worst strategies. So I kind of shy away from that a little bit. And also, percent gainers are usually down for a reason, right? They usually have something flawed, or some news that came out that's really bad that made them dip that much. So that's why they're really risky for new traders, because new traders oftentimes don't cut losses quick enough, and they, even worse than that, is they let positions, one day they think it's going to come back up, but sometimes these coins never go back up and they go to zero. So you're going to become a bag holder, and you don't want that to happen. You're going to ride this thing all the way to down to the ground. So there's a lot higher chance that that's going to happen if you're trading percent losers. So honestly, the best thing is to avoid that is, one, obviously cut your losses quickly. Rule number 1 that we learned in day 2. But more so, just avoid percent losers. They are, you're playing with fire. So if you guys want to see my watch list, you just go over here to watch list, and you'll see a whole list of the recent ones. Here's an example of a watch list. And I kind of talk about typically what happened yesterday, what I'm thinking, kind of what my mindset is, and things I should be looking for. And then I'll review some of the trades I either found in the screener or I found in my watch list. Right? Just a quick little recap. I always throw the tags on all the watch lists, so you can quickly go click on each one and find similar posts or maybe similar trades. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's really just kind of preparing yourself for the day. By writing a watch list, you're thinking, what's happened that day, what's going on in the market. So really, gives you the bigger picture and kind of gets you ready for the trading, instead of just logging into your exchange and just seeing so much momentum and then getting into a trade and all of a sudden you don't have a strategy, you don't have a plan. So building a watch list kind of gives you a bit of grounding for the day, and that's what it's all about. And there's nothing wrong with trading stuff that's not on your watch list, right? You always are going to find stuff throughout the day that looks like really good, like a good trading opportunity, and it might be. And just because it's not on your watch list and you didn't see it earlier doesn't mean it's bad. A watch list is really just about, like I said, getting a foundation and making sure you start the day on the right foot. That's everything for now. There's one more video and then you guys are done with the course. This course is flying, so stay tuned for that. Ciao, ciao.